Okay, so Odysseus's men have killed Helios's cows, and Zeus has promised to shipwreck the team in retribution to keep Helios from being too upset. So let's hear what happens next.
All the gales had ceased, blown out, and with an offshore breeze we launched again, stepping the mast and sail to make for the open sea. Astern of us, the island coastline faded, and no land showed anywhere but only sea and heaven. When Zeus Cronion piled a thunderhead above the ship, while gloom spread on the ocean, we held our course but briefly. Then the squall struck whining from the west with gale force, breaking both forestays, and the mast came toppling aft along the ship's length, so the running rigging showered into the bilge. On the afterdeck, the mast had hit the steersman a slant blow, bashing the skull in, knocking him overside, as the brave soul fled the body like a diver.
Okay, so in this storm, the mast of the ship, the big telephone pole that goes through the middle, falls over and hits somebody in the head, and it kills him instantly. So Odysseus knows that this is really bad and the ship is going to sink.
With crack on crack of thunder, Zeus let fly a bolt against the ship, a direct hit, so that she bucked in reeking fumes of sulfur, and all the men were flung into the sea. They came up round the wreck, bobbing a while like petrels on the waves. No more seafaring homeward for these, no sweet day of return. The god had turned his face from them.
So they all died except for Odysseus.
I clambered fore and aft my hulk until a comber split her, keel from ribs, and the big timber floated free. The mast too broke away. A backstay floated dangling from it, stout rawhide rope, and I used this for lashing mast and keel together. These I straddled, riding the frightful storm.
So he ties some of the parts of the boat together to make a raft.
Nor had I yet seen the worst of it, for now the west wind dropped, and a southeast gale came on, one more twist of the knife, taking me north again, straight for Charybdis. All that night I drifted, and in the sunrise, sure enough, I lay off Scylla Mountain and Charybdis Deep. There, as the whirlpool drank the tide, a billow tossed me, and I sprang for the great fig tree, catching on like a bat under a bough. Nowhere had I to stand, no way of climbing, the root and bole being far below, and far above my head the branches and their leaves massed, overshadowing Charybdis pool.
So now he's hanging on the tree over the giant whirlpool, and he thinks he's going to die.
But I clung grimly, thinking my mast and keel would come back to the surface when she spouted. And how long, with what desire I waited, till, at the twilight hour, when one who hears and judges pleas in the marketplace all day between contentious men goes home to supper, the long poles at last reared from the sea. Now I let go with hands and feet, plunging straight into the foam beside the timbers, pulled astride, and rowed hard with my hands to pass by Scylla. Never could I have passed her, had not the Father of gods and men this time kept me from her eyes.
Okay, so Odysseus waits for his little raft to come out of the water after going under, and he waits all day. Finally, right before he's gonna let go because he can't hold on anymore, the raft comes back to the surface. So he lets go, he gets down into the water, gets on his raft, and then he starts paddling with his hands. And so he's thanking Zeus, the king of the gods, for keeping Scylla inside her cave so she didn't see him, because remember, you have to paddle close to Scylla to get around Charybdis and safely get through that strait of water.
Once through the strait, 9 days I drifted in the open sea before I made shore, buoyed up by the gods upon Ogygia Isle. The dangerous nymph Calypso lives and sings there in her beauty, and she received me, loved me. But why tell the same tale that I told last night in hall to you and to your lady? Those adventures made a long evening, and I do not hold with tiresome repetition of a story.
Okay, so that is the end of part 2 that we will be reading today. So please make sure that you know what is on part 2 so that you do not get any wrong on the quiz tomorrow.